Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Data Chef. So today what we are going to talk about is all about hyperparameter tuning. So we are going to see a various method through which we can do a hyperparameter optimization. So why do we need hyperparameter tuning or optimization? Because when working on the machine learning project, you need to follow a series of steps to reach a particular goal. And one of the important steps here is to execute the hyperparameter optimization. That will give you a better performance of your model. Okay, and this task is basically comes once you build the model. Once you build the model and you see the accuracy, and then you realize that the accuracy or the performance metrics that you are getting is not enough, and you want a further better accuracy. In this case, what you do, you take the model and then you see like what is the best parameter, best hyperparameter that can be provided to get the better accuracy. So in hyperparameter tuning, we have a different method. The most predominant method is the grid search. So this is widely used and very traditional method. And then you can see that the grid search works by trying every possible combination of parameter you want to try in the model, and this means that it will take a lot of time. Uh, the second approach is that is about the random search. So random search actually work little bit differently than your grid search. It actually takes the random combination of your features and then it executes against the model and then it finds the best solution for the model, for the built model. But there is a drawback to this model. This model sometimes could miss out the important features or combinations and you may not get a correct accuracy. But it is rarely happens, but still it is not as optimal as your grid search. So now when we have grid search and random searches, what is the alternative hyperparameter optimization technique that is there other than the grid search and your random search? So the latest one that we see here is the hyperopt. Hyperopt in other sense it is called hyper optimization, and this was developed by James Bergestra, and this is a based works based on the Bayesian optimization for parameter tuning, and and again the result is same. That is, it will give a best hyperparameter for your model. So what are we going to do here? In this notebook, I'm going to explain the how we can use this grid search, random search, and hyperopt. So that is what I'm going to explain. So this is my collab notebook. What I have taken is like I have taken the data. My data is available inside my Google Drive. So I have to give this code to read the code from the Google Drive, and then once I read the file, this is nothing but the telecom churn, the very famous data set available in Kaggle or UCA machine learning. And then you can see that the data, I'm reading the data here, and then I'm saying executing the data. So once I execute data, it has about 38,333 rows and 22 features. And my target variable is churn. Basically, what we are trying to do here with this data set, we wanted to understand whether the customer will churn or not. So that is the basic requirement for this particular model. And looking into the info, so this is when you put df.info, you get all the features which consist of account id, account length, email message, and other information. I'm not going to go through the entire features of this explanation of these features because this is straightforward. This is going to be my target variable, and then you can see that it has about 8 float variables, 12 integer variables, and 2 object variables. Then when I put a describe, basically this gives me a baseline kind of a matrix, which tells me that okay, account ID I cannot take that, but account length I can see that on an average the customer is with us for the 101 months. This account length is in months, so the customer stay with us for 101 month, and the maximum is 243 months. So then the number of email message, you can say on an average In this data set, a customer has used about 8.09 message, and then you can also see day minutes. So how many minutes he is talking, he or she is talking over the day in a day. So on an average, a customer talks about 179 minutes, which is close to your 3 hours. And evening minutes, in the evening we can see the customer talks more than the day minutes, which is about again close to just above the 3 hours, 200 minutes. Then the night minute and evening minutes are almost same. You can see this is again just above the 3 hours, which is nothing but your 200 minutes. Then the international minutes, there are customer like on an average they use for 10 minutes. On an international is very costly. That is the reason customer don't talk overseas, don't talk to overseas, and this is only few. But when you look into the local calls, they are about on an average of 3 hours. Then you have other features here, and here my churn is my target variable, which has only two values. Zero means no churn, one means churn. And other than this, we do have other features here: international call, area code, night charges, night calls, evening charges, and other things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to load the base packages here. So I'm going to use the random forest method, random forest classifier, to find out whether the customer is going to churn or not. And there are certain other cross validation scores, Candace Taylor. And then for grid search, I'm going to use the grid search CV, which is again a part of your scikit-learn. And then for random search, again, I'm going to use random search CV. Then for hyper optimization, I'm going to use the hyperopt, and these are the some of the classes that I'm going to include over here. So I'm going to remove certain some non-important features out of my data set. So area code, phone, account ID, and state is is not makes any sense to me. So I have removed it from my data set, and then I'm going to list the columns after removing. I have this many columns. Then I'm going to take this column and I'm going to split that into a x and y column. So my x will contain all the independent feature and y will contain all the dependent feature. Then I have to do a scaling here. I'm going to use the standard scalar fit transformation. So all the x variable will be scaled so that it will have my data set will have a scaled values. Then the first thing what I'm going to use here is the grid search. In the grid search, I'm going to define some parameter, number of estimators, so number of iteration that it has to run, the max depth of the tree, and the criterion. Criterion, I'm going to use the two things, Gini and entropy. For max depth, I'm going to use these five features over here, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. For number of n estimator, I'm going to use 101, sorry, 100, 200, 300, and 400. Then here where I'm creating my model object here, random forest classifier, which is going to be stored in my RF classifier. And in my grid search CV, I'm going to say that my model equal to grid search CV, estimator equal to random forest classifier, which is defined over here, and parameters that I'm going to pass over here is what defined over here, and that is a param grid. And cross validation values, I'm going to do a 5 cross validation, and then the number of jobs is 1 minus 1, sorry. So then I'm going to fit this model. I'm going to pass my independent value and my dependent value. So when I run this, it will execute all the parameters like this. I mean, it runs with all the features, and then you can see here. Let me scroll to the down and show you. So these are the some of the estimated says that various parameters it tried. The grid says tries with a various value, and it gives you the loss, gives the loss function over there. So the entropy or Gini, whatever you mention over there, and then you can see here that okay. So we have this grid search CV, and then I'm going to print the best model score. So out of this all this execution, I wanted to know what is my best one. So here I can see that my best model score is, I'll say model.best score underscore. So I'll get, and what is the parameter that I have to pass it to my new model? I mean, for my the hyperparameter that I want to pass it. So here it says that the best score is about, you have accuracy about 95.64, and this is the hyperparameter that you need to pass on to the model. So you can just copy paste, and you can, instead of you defining your parameter, you can say that what is the max depth. You can use the criterion as entropy, max depth as 9, max feature is equal to auto, leaf node is equal to none, and then the max samples none, and then min impurity decrease 0. So all those things you can take. So all the hyperparameters provided to you. So you manually, if you want to understand this, it will be very difficult. Rather, what you do is you run the grid search and you get the best parameter out of this. So this is the model, I mean the hyperparameter value for grid search. Let me introduce the other one called random search. So in the random search, you can see that the same thing. I'm defining the same model equal to random search CV, estimator equal to RF classifier, and param and, underscore distribution equal to param grid, and number of iteration equal to 5. All everything is same. The only thing is I'm using the random search CV instead of grid search CV. So once I run this, so I can see that there is about mm, okay. Let me see here. So it executes with the random estimators, random parameters, and then at the end it gives you the best parameter. So you say model.best score, and they get the parameter. It says that 95.37. Remember, this data set is a very simple data set with only 3,000 observation and some 18 or 19 features. But so here, whether you run a random search or grid search, you may not see a very big difference. Only the difference will be only in decimals. But the main focus here is to give you the what are the different optimization techniques that is there. Hyperparameter tuning techniques are there, and which you can use it. So here also you get about 95.37 as an accuracy, and then you see the random search gave us this parameter, hyperparameter. Now you can take this parameter and you can rerun the model. And the next one is this is what is called hyperopt model tuning. In the hyperopt model tuning, we have to define the space. Remember, we define the param grid, right? So similar way, we can say n estimator equal to HP choice. HP choice is the parameter that we have see is the function where we define the number of estimators. Then the max depth, we have to put that in a Q uniform, and max depth equal to 1, 15 or 1. So similarly, we can say criterion equal to HP choice, Gini or entropy. So this is how we define the space for hyperparameter, sorry, hyperopt tuning. And once we define this function, basically we wanted to minimize the error. So what we are trying to do is we are going to use again going to use the same random forest, and we also use the cross validation to avoid any overfitting. And then the function, what the function will do, function will return the loss value. So, so here I'm going defining a function called define hyperparameter tuning with the parameters, and my classification is random classifier, and then the cross validation score. Internally, I'm running the cross validation score also, and the performance metrics that I want, or I would be interested here is the accuracy. You can put any other thing like F1 or any other thing, but here I'm more interested on the accuracy. And then you have a return as a loss. Loss will be the value that will be returned, loss value, and then the status okay. So once you define the here, you have to define the trials. I'll explain about the trials in the later part, but the trials inside the trial, just inside the trial object here, and then you say best equal to fmin. Fmin is a part of your hyperopt function. Fmin is a function that comes along with your hyperopt, and then hyperparameter tuning, which you defined here, the function over here, to call this function, and then you space again you define somewhere here space, and then you say that tp dot suggest, which is the algorithm that you are going to use, which suggest tp dot suggest is the algorithm, that you are going to use, and max evaluation is like 100. So how many evaluations has to done? and the trial is equal to trial object that you have to pass. And then once you execute this, you just run this and you say that, okay, what is my best parameter? Print the best parameters. So it says that criterion equal to 1, max depth equal to 15, and estimate equal to 2. So how do we read this? So here, when I say criterion equal to 1, so I have to go back and look into my space. So in my criterion, my 1 is nothing but this is my 0 and this is my 1. So it says that entropy is the best criterion that you have to use. And then it says that max depth equal to 15. So what it tells me? So it says that after running this, after performing hyperparameter optimization, the loss is about minus 0.9559, which means the model performance has the accuracy of 95.59 using the estimator 300, because estimator equal to 2 I mentioned, right? So what is 2 more here for me? So here when if I go back to my space, so this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, and then it gives me that it says that, okay, this is estimated 15 and my criterion equal to entropy with the random function. You can also try this with the XGBoost or Light GBM or extraordinary classifier or any other model. But for the simplicity of this explanation, I just used only the random forest with the 3 different hyperparameter tuning options. So if you want to know that, okay, want to analyze the result, how it worked. So what you can see is you can just put trials dot result. So when you put the trial dot result, it will say that at each step how it performed. So each iteration how it performed. So it tells that, okay, in my first iteration it was about 95.25 and here it is 89.13 and then again 95.49. So similarly it increases, decreases, so various things, and out of all these things, it gave me the best performing hyperparameter. So you can look here, you can scroll to this, and then you can say the loss. If you want to know the losses, again you can just print the loss alone here. Again it will give you the loss, like what is the losses over here. The loss function provides the loss. So basically it's nothing but your accuracy. So this is hope this you are clear with this explanation. If you have any question, please put your questions in the comment. I will be happy to answer it. Thank you.